Hey guys, so for my video presentation, my favorite intervention that I happened to choose was the breaking the attention seeking habit through the power of random positive teacher attention. So to start off, it's definitely normal for children to need attention and approval, especially at a very young age. However, attention seeking behavior can become a main concern and main problem, especially in a classroom when it happens all the time. An attention seeking behavior is a mild, reoccurring behavior that a student knows is unacceptable, however, continues to act that way to get the teacher's or the peers' attention. Many children misbehave to get attention, and I currently work in a special needs preschool with 3 to 4 year olds. And I have a number of students that definitely seek attention and misbehave. They disrupt the classroom in order to get that attention. Um, and with that being said, this intervention definitely grabbed my attention. Surprisingly, many of these students who seek the attention, they don't care if it's positive or if it's negative attention as long as they're getting some sort of attention. The teacher could be praising the student or the teacher can be reprimanding and scolding the student. The student just wants the attention. You would think that the child being reprimanded would stop that behavior or at least might try a different approach, but unfortunately a lot of these students, they find the negative attention to be just as reinforcing, and they continue to misbehave and act out to get a response out of the teacher. With that being said, teachers can try to avoid this problem by trying the approach of the positive teacher attention. So the instructor begins by ignoring the student's attention-seeking behaviors, but at the same time randomly giving the student positive attention. That is, if the student receives regular positive teacher attention, but at times it's unconnected to misbehavior. So the student still gets the adult attention that he or she craves, but with this approach, the student misbehavior and the resulting negative teacher attention, it's broken. So there are 5 steps in implementing this intervention, and the first step is the teacher has to select a way how he or she will show the positive attention to the student. So some examples of giving attention include a pat on the shoulder, making eye contact and smiling at your student, calling the student in class during a lesson, giving the student words of encouragement, or even selecting the student to carry out a classroom task. I know my students, they love carrying out classroom tasks, whether it be clean the table or dump the milk in the sink or put away the chairs. They love carrying out classroom tasks and they find this a huge reward. So I would definitely give that one a try. The second step of the intervention is deciding how frequently you're going to be giving this positive teacher attention. The teacher can do so by observing the student, and when he or she figures out how often the student seeks the attention, they could figure out how often to give that positive teacher attention. So the third step is the teacher must choose the time and the setting of the positive random attention. So depending on where the student engages in the attention-seeking behavior, that's where the teacher should take the action. The fourth step would be for the teacher to start the random intervention, but he or she has to follow 2 rules. So rule number 1 would be whenever the student inappropriately tries to get the teacher's attention, the teacher should either A, ignore the student, or B, in a neutral manner, the teacher should quietly just redirect the child to the task. The second rule is during a given class time, whenever the student is due for positive teacher attention, the teacher should observe the student. And if the student happens to not be engaged in attention-seeking behavior, when the teacher happens to look over at him or her, the teacher should definitely give the positive teacher attention right away when they see that happening. Otherwise, the teacher should just simply ignore the student attention-seeking behavior and just continue with the lesson. So the last step, step number 5, is to slowly fade the intervention when you feel that the child is reducing or even eliminated the attention-seeking behavior, and the teacher can do so by reducing the number of times of simply giving the random positive attention. I believe this intervention is a great approach, and this intervention should definitely be beneficial as long as the teacher does not continue to give the student attention for the misbehavior and just focus on the positive. The student also should be receiving enough random teacher attention. Other than that, if the student doesn't find the teacher attention to be rewarding, that's a different story. And if that doesn't faze the student, then maybe you should, as a teacher, just select a different intervention.